Hey, and welcome back to our podcast, The Fully Booked Photographer. And Brad, Janine, and Jonathan are here, of course, as always. And we're here to talk about one of my favorite subjects. What is your why? How many of you now are asking?
Oh, I'm so sorry to interrupt. I'll let you finish, Ron.
I was pausing for effect, Brad.
Oh. I thought you were pausing so I could talk.
So, what is your why? So, one of the great leaders in this area is Simon Sinek, and if you haven't seen him yet, check him out on YouTube. Just go TED Talk Simon Sinek and watch it, but not now, after this podcast. But when, Simon Sinek talks about the great leaders, the great businesses, always lead with their why, and when I saw this first, I was saying, what does he mean by always lead with your why, And I was thinking about this, and he says, yeah, but you see, if you ask anybody in business, and I've tested this thousands of times, when I meet a photographer now, I say, so what do you do, And they'll generally say, I'm a newborn photographer, I'm a wedding photographer, I'm a commercial photographer, right? That's what they do. If I then turn and I say, right, so you've told me you're a family portrait photographer. So how do you do that? And they'd be able to tell me, oh, how we do that is we've got a studio and we get the clients in and we photograph their story and we have all these different backdrops that we photograph them against. And then we sell them wall art for their walls, because they're timeless memories. Don't get me started on that. And then you say, right, so why are you a family photographer? And it's dumb silence. Because they don't know why they're a photographer. They don't know why. And if the great companies and the great leaders, as Simon Sinek says, lead with their why, well, then you're never going to be a great leader or a great business unless you do figure that out. So, Brad, now you can come in and talk about your why.
Well, I wasn't actually going to come in to talk about my why. I was just going to say I love talking about the why of your business just so I can listen to you say why. You say it so beautifully, Ronan. It's like poetry. I'm sure a lot of our listeners will appreciate how you say it as well.
Like poetry.
Yeah, it's beautiful how you say it, with that little bit of Irish accent going on. Anyway, so talking about my own, so the business why. So I can talk because understanding your why is it's very simple. At the same time, it's also very complex in getting a handle of what your why is. So for a long time, I mean, my business now primarily just photographs boudoir. So that's a real simple why. We want to empower and celebrate women. Like, done. That's what we want to achieve. We achieve that through delivering them a transformational boudoir experience. So that's our why, really easy. 10 years ago, when I was in the business, we didn't know that. We didn't really have a why. And we just wanted to run a business. We wanted to get clients in. We wanted to earn an income, and we wanted to photograph them. It was really, really simple. But especially when I started to do more digital marketing, I quickly discovered that trying to sell people portraits was incredibly difficult because nobody really wants a portrait. What they want is they want to solve something for themselves. They've got a problem that you want to solve as a business, or they have a desire they want to be moved towards. So after, doing dozens of these boudoir photography sessions, there started to become a pattern forming of the women after having the session with my parents, leaving tremendous reviews for our business on Facebook and talking to the friends about it and bringing the friends back in and being huge advocates of what they do because of how it made them feel. And then I kind of had a bit of a light bulb moment in my head, and I was like, well, maybe that's what I put in my marketing. Maybe I shift all our marketing around discount offers, because that's where my brain was at the time, to, well, maybe I start describing this in my marketing. Maybe I start telling women that, we're here to empower them, to make them feel confident, to celebrate them, and what difference that would have. And it essentially enabled me to build my business to, multiple six figures and do millions in pounds worth of sales over the last few years. Really understanding that piece of why our customers were coming to us and what about our experience they enjoyed.
Oh, Brad, you're really going to get me going now because I have a question to ask you.
Go on.
So my question is, well, I have two questions. What I've heard is that your clients nearly taught you your why,
Yeah.
by what they said rather than you discovering it outside of your clients. And secondly, the desire for your why within your business, was that driven by the desire to make money, or was that driven by the desire to make a difference to people and the money was a result?
So I would say the desire, because my father would say this, he became a photographer to make money. He didn't become a photographer because he liked photography. He was in a dead end job. My grandfather was a photographer. My dad was fed up with his job and went to my grandfather, his dad, and said, look, we take me on some jobs, because my dad wanted to move forward with his life and saw photography as his escape, and to build a business from. So our business for a long time was focused on earning income. And that was my dad's personal why. It was to provide himself, then his wife, and then his son, me, a wonderful life. And he achieved that. And it wasn't really till I was in that business that I started to see the importance of a why in marketing. So yeah, our clients dictated that why to us, through them experiencing, or telling us their emotions after they've had the experience with them, and then reshaping how we look at ourselves as photographers. Because up until that point, go on, Ronan.
So has that changed now? Like, because really to deliver on your why, right, everyone has to believe in the purpose of it, right? And everyone has to believe in the organization that this is the difference we make, right? And the result will be greater business results. So, I sense that it's this why of providing empowering boudoir experiences for your clients, right? And giving them confidence that you guys, your mum and Ruth and your dad and your makeup artist and yourself, that truly you connected with that desire somehow.
Yeah, and we connected with that, or my parents connected with that really straight away, because boudoir was their favorite thing to photograph. They did it together, so they loved being in the studio together with each other. They loved working with the clients. But it's one of those things, isn't it? You don't know what you don't know. So they knew what their why was. They just never really articulated it, because they never really heard Simon Sinek talk about their why, and businesses leading with the why first. But it was there deep down in why they loved doing boudoir, why they always wanted me to push the marketing to bring more boudoir clients in. So our delivering to those clients and delivering them a tremendous experience then helped us grow our business on the back end of that, and as our own studio from, 2019 to now, so the post-COVID years, our average order's gone up fourfold, because of understanding and delivering more to our clients.
So that was the result, right? It wasn't you obviously wanted to have a better business and higher average and all that, but you first had to discover the why and deliver on that for your clients, and the result was the average order value going up so much.
Yeah, the more we delivered to our clients, the more we understood of what they actually want to achieve from having this experience, the more we were rewarded for that. And it's a reward, because post, but pre all that, our mentality was similar to essentially all the photographers I've ever spoke to, is that it's a commodity, that people want a frame. That's what they want. They want some prints, or they want digital files. I was just getting in the business when everyone was going mad about, do you offer digital files? And that argument was all over the place. And ultimately, that's not what clients want. That's what we wrongly perceive that they want. But they want a transformational experience. They want to truly feel something. They want to be connected to the family, to feel, hope for their future, to feel empowered, to be confident, that they want that emotional buy-in, because that's what they're buying. That they're not buying a frame for the wall.
So Jonathan, Brad has talked about marketing, right? And the role of your why in your marketing and connecting with your ideal client, from your marketing experience, right? And seeing the photographers who are successful with their online marketing and earning those conversations, what role does their why have you seen in one, knowing that they've got an ideal client and that they're not spraying and praying, and allowing them just connect with those people on Facebook to bring them into their world?
Yeah, really interesting question. And it's challenging sometimes to link it, but in terms of, when you truly understand and know your why, it allows you to figure out what your client actually wants. Because most of the time, people don't want what businesses are trying to sell them. They don't want the product or service. They want the result of that product or service. So by you understanding what they truly want, you can then create ad copy and messaging that connects with their true desire. It's almost like, for anyone who's seen Lucifer, when Lucifer asked him, what is it that you truly desire? It's always something much, much deeper. It's 2 or 3 levels down. And if you can, knowing your why and how that connects to your clients, helps you identify that true deep desire and not that surface level desire. For example, I heard, a colleague of mine talking recently, and she was saying that what they were one of her clients is a weight loss coach, and they were selling, weight loss coaching. And for her and her client didn't really want to lose weight. That wasn't the real why. The real why was that they wanted to look sexy for their partner and their husband. That was the desire, right? It wasn't that she wanted to drop a few pounds to look good. So understanding that true deep desire becomes easier when you know your why, and then you can make proper business decisions around that, such as, Janine will tell us in a minute, should I offer this experience? Should I spray and pray and offer 10 different types of photography? Is this the right product for my business? Is it helping, satisfy what my client actually wants? I think that's really important for us in making those actual marketing and messaging decisions.
And Janine, just to bring this sort of together in a different angle, right? That often what Jonathan's talked about is, rather than spraying and praying, and I'm a photographer, right, leading with my what, it's about, if we lead with our why, often our ideal client who we want to find on Facebook, right, is a mirror image of ourselves. So often we're asked, like, how do I identify my ideal client, and it's us, right? And, part of you discovering your why, which you're going to tell us all about now, and what you do, but where it came from was, it was you, right? Your ideal client is you, and you found a solution for you and others like you. Just talk to us about that.
Yeah, so it's, obviously we're talking about this. I have a children's photography studio, and I'm a mom with children. And so when my second child was born, I distinctly remember crying when I was devastated that I couldn't remember what my first child looked like at that age. I struggled. I was like racking in my memory banks, like, what did she look like? Why can't I remember what she looked like when she was this little of a baby? And I was rummaging through old photo albums that I had put together in her memory books. And she was born pre-digital, right? So it wasn't as easy to find some of these things. And I cried. It was probably the emotional hormones and things like that, but I was devastated that I couldn't remember. And then even as my son started aging a little bit into his toddler years, I was like, what is it that she liked at this age? Wow, why can't I remember what cartoons she liked at 2? Was that when she liked Mickey Mouse? Was it when she liked princesses? And I realized it was more than just what they looked like, but it was also what they were interested in. And I'm sure as a dad, you've heard this, where people are like, you better write it down because you're never going to remember what they said. You're never going to remember their first word unless you write it down. And as a parent, you think you're always going to remember, but you don't, and you forget. And it's one of those things, and I never want to forget ever again what my child looked like, what my child was interested in. It's part of their story. And I know it's part of my clients' stories too. So my why developed over a time frame of me discovering what was important to me as a mom. And those are also my clients, and talking with my clients and finding out what was important to them as a mom. And for me, I have two whys. I have my personal why for the business, which is I want to go through life with my clients. I want to go through their life, which is why I like to have sessions that capture all of the moments, not just major milestones every 5 or so years. I want all of them. I want spring. I want Christmas. I want birthday. I want their passion at 4, their passion at 5, what it is that obsesses them at 8, 9, and 10. I want all of that because all of that tells their story. And all of that is what the mom will remember as the story of their child's life. So that is my personal why that transcends into my business why. It's the reason why we create these experience sessions for our clients. Once I realized that and that light bulb went off in my head, that's when I realized, oh, if I want to make these kids excited about coming here, and if I want the parents to have both the memories of what their child looked like, but also celebrate what they were obsessed with at that age, I have to create an experience for that. And that's really where the theme sessions were born in the studio, was so that I could provide those experiences for the children and the parents and create those memories and those moments for them to share together. And so it's been interesting. It's been an interesting journey, Ronan, because I've had things thrown at me as, where I succumb to the pressure of my photography peers, right? Janine, you need to offer this in your studio. You'd make so much more money. You'd have higher sales if you were offered paintings. Right? And I remember this, my mastermind group, it was about 7 or so years ago, convinced me that it was the way forward. I had to have this high-end offering in my studio in order to be successful, because I had to stop just having these $1,000, $1,500 sales. I had to have these $5,000, $6,000, $8,000, $9,000 painting sales. So I'm like, you're right. That makes so much sense. And I went through an entire launch campaign for it, did it the right way. I knew how to market it. That's not where I lack skill, right? So I knew how to market this. I marketed it, but I didn't have a passion for it. And it failed miserably. I think I sold 3 because I can never talk about it with the passion for people who actually have a passion for painted portraits. It's not my passion. Because I know without a shadow of a doubt, if a client buys that painting, they're not coming back in 6 months. In fact, they probably won't come back for a few years. And that doesn't speak to my why. And my why goes to wanting them to come back to photograph all of the milestones, not specifically just one. And so it was a lesson for me. It wasn't my passion. And so I couldn't market it the way I could if it truly was. I never saw the true why in that product line, which is why it didn't work. And so it should have been a litmus test for me. And that's one of the points we want to drive home. Like, your why ends up becoming a litmus test for your business so you don't drift. You don't want to drift away from your core business just because some new shiny object is presented to you in the business world or the photography world. There's a new genre. Oh my gosh, everybody's doing this. I have to do it. But if it doesn't, you got to take it back home and take it back home to you and be like, does this mash up with my why? Is this going to bring me joy? Is it going to bring me purpose? Is it going to be what my target client wants?
So Janine, I'm going to do a Lucifer on it now. And I'm going to challenge you to say it goes deeper than that with you. So, you've explained your why, but really we've talked before about your ideal client being a reflection of yourself, right? And you're a professional woman. You run an amazing, serious photography business, right? How you get the time to do this is beyond me, right? Because you never stop, right? But that's because you love it so much you don't regard it as work, right? But being a professional mum of 2 young children, right? There's an underlying feeling sometimes that maybe you're not there for your children, and there's that voice in you causing you to feel guilty, right?
Are you trying to make me cry on this podcast? That's just low. Why would you do this to me?
And you can hear the tears in her voice because we can see them in her eyes. So, no, but it's true, Janine. Like, this is how you get to your true why, right? Is that, and you've been here, is that you know that that's a fact, and you know that that's a fact for your ideal client who's also a professional mom, right? But the work you do, right, the work you do, and you've talked about the difference it makes a real difference to mom knowing that your children see all those happy memories you have together, right? And they make them smile and they make them feel loved even when you are working hard, right? That's your true why, you know, and you can see it in your eyes now. Like, for those of you who can't see you, like, you're, you know, that's your why, and that's your driver, and that's your passion, right? And there's nothing, you know, that's what you need to get to. That you've got to figure out in business, like Janine has, right? Who does my work actually make a real difference to? That's your why. And when you lead with your why, and you're, you know, fully invested and genuine about your why, like Janine is, right? That's what gets you out of bed every single day. Because, like, let's be honest, we all have good days and we all have bad days, right? That's just human. That's life, right? But even when Janine's having a bad day, right, her why and the difference she makes to her clients every single day of the year is what gets her to get out of bed every single day. And the result of that is having a hugely successful photography business that delivers her the financial rewards that allow her to give her family an amazing life, you know, that they can do what they want. But that's not the reason why she does it. And that's the key challenge with discovering your why. Everyone has to figure that out. And everyone's why will be different. And that's why everyone's client is different. And that's why the photographer down the road is not your competition. Your competition is yourself. Why do you truly do this? What difference does your photography make to people? And you have to discover that before you can become fully booked. And if you're genuinely interested in making a difference with your photography and become fully booked, well, then join us. Join us at the Fully Booked Photographer. Check out our website. We're there to help you with this because it isn't easy. And all these business things have to be connected and put together. But I promise you, there'll be nothing more fulfilling in life for you when you discover your why, when you take your skills as a photographer and the art and science of photographer and truly, truly create artwork displays and albums and folio boxes that mean something to your client. Not to you, that means something to your client, right? That's what brings your clients back over and over again. That's what causes your clients to interact with that and realize what's truly important to them every single day. That's what helps your clients to reconnect with those who are important to them. That's what gives your children confidence every single day when they see that, to know that they're loved as they leave the home. That's what gives them the confidence when they leave your home and a bully starts to pick on them, that they say, do you know what? F you. I'm confident in myself, right? And if you really want to go this route, don't go there, because I have such a relationship with my parents and my family that, you know, we'll be reporting you as the bully that you are, and be strong enough to stand up to them. That's the difference you make with your work. That's the difference you make with your work. But the start of that is to really discover what's your why. What is your why? That's the challenge you have today. So join us at thefullybookedphotographer.com. If you've enjoyed this conversation, please click the subscribe button below, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye for now.